Okay, so the forum will last about an hour to an hour and a half. We will not have an intermission. If you need to use the restroom, it's in the foyer, and then just try to leave the auditorium in between speakers if that's possible. We are going to film the forum tonight, so if any of your friends or family members couldn't be here tonight, the film will be posted to our La Cañada PTA website, which is lacañadapta.org. We have senior students, Miles Lahoda, filming this for us tonight. And before we get started tonight, we'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to welcome up Krista Evans, our Council PTA and La Cañada High School PTA board member.
Please stand and face the flag. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Krista. And now I'd like to please welcome our moderator, Marguerite.
Thank you, and good evening. I'm Margot Reed of the LA County League of Women Voters. I live in Whittier and have been involved with the Whittier League of Women Voters for decades. The league is, I guess, my passion, and voter service, which candidate forums are part of, is the aspect of league that I really enjoy. We do, in our voter service, voter education arm, we do candidate forums so that you, the voters, have an opportunity to listen to the candidates, to ask them questions, and to make up your own mind. Within voter service, we also do pros and cons on ballot measures, and I brought with me copies of the publication that we printed here in LA County that has not only the 10 state ballot measures in a pro and con format, but also the 3 LA County measures, A, E, and G, and it has information solicited from the candidates for the 2 in the runoff for district attorney, both Mr. Gascon and Mr. Hoffman, and there are 5 runoff seats for Superior Court Judge, and the 2 candidates for each of those seats have submitted material for this publication. So we brought some there outside. We hope that you read it and then share it. There's information on the back about the different leagues within the county, and a little ad for our website, vote411.org. On that website, we have solicited participation from candidates to give a little bit of biographical information, contact information, and then answer 1 or more questions that pertain to the office that they are running for. Not all the candidates in the county participate, but it's an ongoing process to encourage the candidates to post their profile on Vote 411. They've each received invitations via email, and the instructions for how to enter their information is given within the email. So there are several different means that the league uses to help people understand what is on their ballot. And I also like to give a plug for the Registrar Recorder's Office, because the LA County Registrar Recorder is a phenomenal resource for information on how to vote, where to vote, when to vote, how to find a drop box, how to find a vote center, and they offer that information in 18 languages. So it's, LA County is bigger than 40 states in population, and we're the largest voting jurisdiction in the country. And having to have 18 languages is quite a responsibility for our registrar recorder. So those of you who have relatives who prefer to read and get their detailed intellectual information in another language, that language is probably available on the Registrar Recorder's website, and it's very easy to find, lavote.gov. And once you get there, choose either Registrar or Elections. And there's a wealth of information there. Okay, the League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization. We study issues and we discuss policy direction, and then we come to consensus on what we think governmental policy in broad terms should state or cover. When there are measures on the ballot or bills being debated in Sacramento or at the federal level or in the county level, we can use those positions that we have developed through our study and consensus process to evaluate the measures that are being proposed and to determine whether the league agrees with the proposal, disagrees with the proposal, or hasn't studied it and has no opinion. So in the Secretary of State's ballot pamphlet, which came last week, you may see the League of Women Voters name. We are non-partisan, which means we don't support a candidate for any level of office, and we never support a political party. If we're supporting a ballot measure that a party is supporting, it's a coincidence because we come to our conclusions without looking at who else is involved. And we use the study and consensus process to determine whether we're supporting or opposing measure. And that's the political. This is the voter education, voter information, and aspect. So without any further ado, I think we should move on, and I'm delighted to welcome the three candidates for La Cañada Unified School Board here this evening. They have been given a set of rules. They must speak about themselves. They may not criticize or talk about the other candidates who are running. They will have time limits, an opening statement of 2 minutes, and 1 minute to answer questions, and at the conclusion they will be able to give a 1 minute closing statement. So we're addressing questions that have to do with school governance, with school policies, and student issues that come up within a school district, and those are the kinds of questions that will be addressed. So I think we will move ahead to our opening statements, and the candidates have drawn for order of speaking. So we will begin with Ms. Jen Heimers.
Good evening, everyone, and I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters and La Cañada Council PTA for hosting this event. My name is Jin Kim Heimers. I'm a wife, I'm a mother of 3 children, and a first-generation immigrant from Korea, and a dedicated member of La Cañada community. I'm running for LCSD school board because I believe our schools should be a place where every student, teacher, and parents feel supported, valued, and heard. As the only parent of LCSD elementary school students in this race, I understand the unique challenges and opportunities that families in our district face. I'm committed to ensuring that our schools continue to provide a positive, fulfilling, diverse education experience for all students, and that teachers have the resources and tools they need to inspire and guide them. One of my priorities is to make sure that we are maximizing the impact of our budget in a way that directly benefits the classroom. My background as a licensed CPA gives me the experience to prepare, reconcile, and review financial statements, and to maximize resources and improve internal control. I worked as a financial auditor with KPMG and Ernst & Young for Fortune 500 companies with revenues in billions of dollars. But it's not just about the number. It's about making sure that those resources are working for our students and teachers. I want to help create an environment where every student has the opportunity to thrive, where every teacher feels supported in the important work they do. And I hope to earn your trust and vote today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from Mr. Josh Epstein.
Thank you. First off, thank you so much to the Council PTA, the League of Women Voters, and to you, Margot, for working with all of us to arrange this event. I appreciate that we have this opportunity tonight, because if you've spent any time with me, then you know that discussing our schools is one of my favorite things to do. In fact, I've been talking about and advocating for our schools for over 15 years, and I think there's a lot to talk about. For the last 4 years, I've had the pleasure to serve on the governing board, and I am currently the governing board president. During my first term, the district has seen improvements in support for student achievement, enhanced systems to aid child wellness, better district communication, and vastly upgraded facilities. Yet there is still more to be done, and I'm excited about what might be accomplished in a second term. That's why I'm here today, to give you a clearer picture of who I am, what I stand for, and what I hope we can do in the next 4 years, so that I might earn your vote this November. My wife Beth and I moved to La Cañada in 2009. We met as undergrads at the University of Chicago, where I got my degree in public policy. My eldest daughter joined Paradise Canyon Elementary as a kindergartner the year we moved to town, and I have been a proud public school parent ever since. Today, my oldest is in college, my middle daughter is a senior at LCHS, and my youngest is in middle school. This provides me with an experienced understanding of all levels of our town's public school offerings. I have 14 years of history at PCY, and I know that campus well. In fact, I was proud to put that knowledge to work during the PCY redesign process that has been happening over the last few years, and I'm really excited to see the updated campus come to life. I also know LCHS exceptionally well, having spent the last 6 years as a parent there. In addition, I've spent nearly 2 decades as a college professor. I am currently on faculty at Chapman University. This gives me an excellent understanding of academics and a strong knowledge of what makes today's students successful. This is one of the reasons that I spearheaded the development of the College and Career Center at LCHS, which opened in 22-23 academic year. I have lots more to share with you about my qualifications and priorities in the second term, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. Finally, we will hear from Caroline Anderson.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Good evening. Thank you to the PTA Council and League of Women Voters Los Angeles for hosting this forum. My name is Caroline Anderson, and I'm excited to discuss my work with the La Cañada Unified School District and our community. I'm uniquely qualified to continue to serve on the school board due to my strong connection to the district, extensive volunteer experience, and dedication to fostering collaboration. As a longtime resident and parent of current LCUSD students, I deeply understand the issues that affect students, parents, and teachers. I regularly visit all our campuses and attend community events to remain engaged and gather feedback on all our schools' needs. My leadership in organizations like the PTA, PTSA, La Cañada Flint Ridge Educational Foundation, where I serve as president of Palm Crest Elementary, and on the LCFEF board, has provided me invaluable insights into schools' needs. As LCFEF president and director, I actively secured funding raising over $10 million for student resources. Additionally, my involvement in district committees focused on LCAP, wellness, diversity, equity, inclusion, highlights my commitment to enhancing student outcomes. Collaboration is central to my work. I believe that every voice, parents, teachers, and students, needs to be heard in our decision making. We've already made great strides together, like adding new AP courses, expanding dual enrollment opportunities with PCC, and creating the Summer Success Academy to help students thrive. I've also worked to strengthen communication between the district and the community by organizing meetings with city council members and focusing on better district outreach. I've also been active outside the school board, serving local organizations like Kiwanis, Sister Cities of La Cañada, and several others. Together, we can create an even brighter future for our students and our community. Thank you, and I look forward to our conversation tonight.
Thank you. Now we will open with questions that have been submitted by you, the audience members. This first question deals with general school board qualifications and involvement. And we will begin with Mr. Epstein, go to Ms. Anderson, and conclude with Ms. Heimers. Long-term involvement in the community is important for understanding its values and needs. Can you outline your past contributions to the school district and broader community, and how this experience prepares you to serve effectively on the school board? And the candidates will have 1 minute each to answer questions. Our timekeepers sitting in the front have timer paddles to let the candidates know the remaining amount of time and to let you know. So we will begin with Mr. Epstein.
Okay. As I mentioned in my opening statement, I joined the community in 2009, and almost immediately I joined the La Cañada Educational Foundation. During that time, I served 6 years on the Educational Foundation, including 3 years on the Executive Council, and in my final year, I was the president of the foundation. After serving that time, I co-chaired the committee that was responsible for helping get the bond passed. And then when I completed that work, I moved to co-chairing the committee that was also responsible for getting the parcel tax passed. When I finished those 2 committees, I felt like I had really learned a lot about our schools, about fundraising, and I joined the board in 2020. I've been a board member now for 4 years, and I am currently the governing board president.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson.
Would it be funny to say, what have I not done? I jumped in with both feet when my kids started in kindergarten. Never went to a carnival before and was said, you're the person, you're gonna run that carnival for us. And from then on, it's been running for the district ever since. I've been room parent for each one of my kids through all of elementary school. I'm on the PTA board at the middle school, at the high school. I was president at LCFEF, as well as serving for 6 years, where we've raised a lot of money for our schools. I've been on the board for 4 years. Aside from being on district committees, I've also worked outside of our schools for our whole community, which is Kiwanis, which also touches our children, La Cañada Sister Cities, which also touches our children. Let's see. Again, we're gonna go with what have I not done.
Thank you. And Ms. Heimers?
I think my experience is a little different. I came here when I was 16 years old from Korea. I went straight to public school in West LA called University High School. There, without learning English, still work in progress. But I think that it would really give me an opportunity to work with good teachers and counselors and really learn firsthand as a boarding student to what the public school can provide to me. And from there, I really worked really hard, and first-hand experience, I was able to experience public schools, and I was able to go to community college, to the UCLA, and to USC. So I know that good education can transform a child's life, which I have also experienced, and that's the reason I'm sitting here tonight. I want to provide the same opportunity to the children in our district. Thank you.
Thank you. This question says, La Cañada High School prides itself on sending graduates to college and beyond. Would you please share your college experience and what your degrees are, and how your high school prepared or did not prepare you for your career? And we will begin with Ms. Anderson, move to Ms. Heimers, and end with Mr. Epstein.
So, School of Hard Knocks. I grew up in the area. Grew up on Ocean View, which was a Sagebrush area of La Cañada. Went to Rosemont Middle School, and then went to Crescenta Valley High School. Went to community college for 2 years and said, this isn't for me. I started working in banks and financial institutions, and after having kids said, I love helping kids, so this is what I'm doing. And I think I do it well.
Thank you. Ms. Heimers.
Sure. I think I'm going to continue from what I said. So came from Korea, went to public school in West LA, went to UCLA, going to community college, Santa Monica Community College. I went to UCLA, and then there I took my first accounting class, and the professor said, now you can go get a job outside. So I thought that was very practical, and that's why I decided to become a CPA. After that, I pursued my further education at the USC, got a master's degree. It wasn't easy, I have to say, it was very hard, but I did very best, and I know that the education can really change children's life, and that's why I'm here for it. That's why my ability.
Thank you. Mr. Epstein?
I grew up in North Dakota, and I went to public school in North Dakota, which was not a particularly high-performing public school. But I aspired to leave the sort of rural area, and I moved to Chicago, where I went to the University of Chicago. And there I studied public policy. I was very interested in public policy, but I was particularly interested in arts policy, or the lack thereof in the US. And so I studied that, and while I was doing that, I was also interested in the arts. And my interest in the arts sort of overcame my interest in public policy to a point, and I found myself more interested in design, in theatrical design. And so I then moved to New York and went to NYU, received my MFA from NYU. And since then I have taught as a college professor. I currently am an assistant professor at Chapman University. So I spend a lot of time teaching young students about their arts education.
Thank you. This person says, integrity and transparency are values of our district and should be reflected in our school board representatives. As you reflect on your background and experience, are there any concerns that, if made public, would negatively impact the integrity of the school board? And for this question, we will begin with Ms. Hubbard.
Sure. I don't think so. I don't think there is anything that will come out negatively, but this is a non-partisan election, and this is why I'm running here, because I'm running for the student and the parents. I'm a candidate for the students and parents, and that's why I'm running this school board election. And I'm holding to my integrity.
Thank you. Mr. Epstein?
I as well don't really see any issues with integrity. I have served on the board now for 4 years. I think that's part of what I think makes a good board member, is being honest and trustworthy and good to your word. And I pride myself on that throughout my life and throughout my time on the school board.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
Well, I'm an open book, as most people know. I probably share more than I need to, so I am going to say no. There's not anything that is going to come up that would negatively impact me.
Okay, thank you. This next question is related to campaigning and being a candidate. And we will begin this question with Mr. Epstein, go to Ms. Anderson, and finish with Ms. Heimers. La Cañada Unified School District Governing Board is nonpartisan. What is your philosophy on asking for and taking endorsements and donations from political organizations?
I have, for political organizations, I have really just a few political organizations, well, just a few organizations on my endorsement list. One is the La Cañada Crescenta Democrats, and I went before that group and spoke to them and sort of told them a little bit about myself, and they chose to endorse me. I also was endorsed by the La Cañada Teachers Association, and that was after an interview process, and I'm proud to be endorsed by that organization because they are our partners, and we've worked hard to build relationships with the teachers. So those are really the only organizations I've been endorsed by. And otherwise, for political candidates and other people who have a political standing in the community, I've really gone to any leaders, regardless of political association, that I have known and worked with, and spoken to them and asked for their endorsement.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
I think I have the same endorsements as Mr. Epstein. I am grateful to have the LCTA endorsement, because working with our teachers is one of the most integral parts of this job. I also have National Women's Political Caucus, which is actually a nonpartisan group. It was an interview process. They interview every woman that wants to be interviewed. And lastly, the Demo Club, which also asked if I would like to speak with them, and I did, and they gave me their endorsement. And during my interview with them, I actually said I would like, if there was any other clubs of any affiliations, I am happy to go and speak with them.
Okay, thank you.
I had an opportunity to interview with LCTA and possible endorsement, but after thinking about it, I decided not to go because as a district, you have to regularly negotiate with the teacher unions, and I just don't think that the conflict of interest will be there, so I decided not to go because I am a candidate for our students and parents, not any unions, or I could easily go to any political parties and get the endorsement too, but I decided not to because I don't want any baggages or any obligations that comes with it. I wanted to be the candidate for the students, and I want to do what's best for our students and parents. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will be getting into some issues involved in both society and school atmosphere. And for this question, we will begin with Ms. Anderson, come to Ms. Heiners, and end with Mr. Epstein. Researchers have indicated that discussion of controversial issues by students is an important and powerful way to build civic knowledge and skills. Do you think students should be exposed to controversial issues and books?
That's the question. I believe that access to a wide range of books and ideas is fundamental to education and intellectual growth. Banning books limits students' exposures to different perspectives, which is crucial for developing critical thinking skills. It's important for schools to offer diverse materials that reflect the experiences and viewpoints of many communities. That said, I also understand that parents have concerns about age-appropriate content. Instead of banning books, the district gives parents the option to opt out of books that parents do not want their children to read.
Thank you. Ms. Heiners.
I think if we talk about any textbooks or any curriculum in the classrooms or in the school, I think that we have to follow the standards from the California. The California regulatory standards, and as a public school, we have to follow that. But as far as topics related to controversial to the parents, I think that the parents has, this comes up with a lot of discussions with different parents, and anybody that I meet in the community comes up as a concern from the parents. I think there is a positive feedback, but also there's a concerned parents too. So I think that this is something that we have to open and have constant communication with the parents. And as far as the age inappropriate, I think that our district did a really great job for the library, putting a process where parents actually have the access, so that if they don't want their children to read these books, then they can actually prevent from doing that.
Thank you. Mr. Epstein.
I agree. I think, and part of the reason that we worked to develop that policy was because we wanted to give parents the opportunity to make decisions for their own family in their own family setting. And so what we believe is that parents can choose what their students want to be exposed to in terms of books, and they can bring those books home if they like, but the books will be available because different parents and different families are going to have different needs and different desires. As far as controversial subjects, students being exposed, of course, I think that it should be age appropriate, but I do believe, especially at the high school level, that understanding controversial subjects and understanding different viewpoints is essential to being a critical thinker. And so I'm always in favor of exposing our students to a lot of subjects and a lot of viewpoints.
Thank you. This is kind of a corollary, and maybe we'll try to take 30 seconds instead of a full minute. Can you please talk about monitoring book content and whether parents are or should be able to get books removed from our school libraries? And we'll begin with Ms. Heiners.
Sure. In the libraries, I think we already have process in our libraries, and we also have librarians working in libraries. They're very well trained, and they are very serious at what they're doing, and they try our best. Just like mentioned about the process from the parents, the district already did a process in the library where if the just like Josh said, the different families have different values, and if the parents don't want certain books to be exposed to their children, then they can stop doing that.
Thank you. Mr. Epstein?
Yeah, I feel like I mostly sort of resolved this in the last answer, but really I don't believe that we should be in the business of banning books. I believe that we can allow families to make choices about their own students, but that we shouldn't be allowing families to make choices for other families.
Is it okay to say ditto? It's always better to add, not subtract. So it's better to add books, and people can choose what they want to read and what they want their children to read versus subtracting books so that other people don't get a choice to read.
Okay. Moving on to another somewhat controversial topic. It is important that students learn in an inclusive environment. How will you ensure that our school's curriculum and policies reflect and respect the diversity of the community? What specific initiatives would you implement? And we'll begin with Mr. Epstein.
Some of these we have begun the work on, and that really relates to our DEI initiative that we started somewhat before I began, but then it kind of began in earnest in my first term, and that was a 3-year program in which we did a deep dive into our work on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and now we are beginning a inflection point in that program where we are going to move from an overall district program to a site-specific program. And I think that's a really important moment for us, because for me, my desire is to enmesh all of those principles into what we do so deeply that we're not having a daily conversation about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and instead we are seeing it just as a part of everyday life here in La Cañada. So I think that's the policies that we've done over the last 4 years, and I'd like to see those continue.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
On top of the DEI progress that we've made, we're also piloting ethnic studies in 9th grade, which offers a valuable opportunity for students to explore the diverse contributions that have shaped our nation's history. The district has carefully considered how best to integrate different books into our curriculum. As always, we've approached this thoughtfully, piloting the program before full implementation a year from now, so we can tailor it to our community's needs. We remain flexible and open to adjustments if needed to ensure its success.
Thank you. Ms. Heiners?
Sure. So I think this DEI initiative, when it first came out, it had, I guess there was a lot of different things going on. But I guess to the ethnic studies, when it first came down, I guess there were some concerns and there were some positive feedbacks. But the state just let us adjust to what fits to the La Cañada best. So I think we were doing the pilot program. We were able to make it to where it fits appropriately to La Cañada. So I think that's a good initiative, and it's part of the DEI initiative, and I think that will help the diversity of the community.
Thank you. This person asks, will you affirm the right for students and staff to use their preferred pronouns in all learning environments? Why is your answer important for you? And we'll begin with Ms. Anderson.
Well, I have to start with a really hard one, we handle each situation uniquely, with the district addressing issues with remarkable care. It's truly extraordinary how thoughtful they manage each circumstance. And we do have to follow Ed Code, state, and federal laws. So the answer is, there is no one-size-fits-all solution for this matter.
Thank you. Ms. Heinrich?
Sure, I think the pronoun is, when people ask for their pronoun, I think it shows them a respect. So I think that there is a law, so we have to abide by the law as a public school, but also it's showing the respect for each individual for what they want to be called. But I think that when it comes down to the parent, as a parent, I think there is a good consensus among the parents, everybody that I talk to, every door knocking or committee in the park, I think there is a concern from the parents that they want to know and they want to be involved.
Thank you. Mr. Epstein?
Just to answer this specific question, I do think that we should refer to people as they would choose to be referred to. That is the way that I would like to communicate with others, and that's like the way I would like others to communicate with me. I think it is a respect issue, and why it's important for me. I spent some time thinking about questions that might come up, and one of those questions is what would make a good school board member. And I thought to myself, one of the things that I think makes a good school board member is being empathetic. And being empathetic means understanding where others' viewpoints. And so for me, when we talk about pronouns, it's really about understanding another student or another adult and how they would like to be referred to. And to me, that is just common sense, to be respectful and to be responsive to other people's needs.
Thank you. In a similar vein, I guess, what steps would you take to address student mental health and provide support services in schools? And for this question, we'll begin with Ms. Heinrich.
Sure. I think for mental health, that's been really big issue in today. I think the wellness program in our schools, in the high school, middle school, already there. I think in the elementary school, LCE, PCR, I think they're already there. And I know that at PCY, we're implementing one right now. I think that a lot of the students get benefit from it, so I think that the program is really helping them. And I'm fully supportive of the wellness center in the elementary schools as well, and the last one at PCY.
Mr. Epstein.
I think we've taken great steps to support mental health, and it is a long process that was slowed a bit or really kind of derailed a bit by COVID, and we've spent a lot of time coming back from that. But I agree, our wellness centers are an excellent first step. I think we have awareness with our Challenge Success programs, which, Challenge Success is using us as a model school for the work that we're doing, and I think paying attention to student needs and how we address student needs is a big part of mental health, and that starts it starts with curriculum and with understanding students' needs, and it ends with wellness at the giving students the opportunity to go to wellness centers and have a place to be seen and just to feel like they can find a place to call their own here in school.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson.
As president of the La Cañada Educational Foundation, the year I was president, my paddle pledge was to open our wellness center here at the high school. Mm-hmm. At the time, it was the most amount raised for a paddle pledge. We had people crying in the back. They were so happy that we were going to open this. Mental health is a huge issue. I can say this personally. I have a child that has used the wellness center, and it has really helped him. And we have now opened the 7-8 Wellness Center so that they have their own place to go. And like Ms. Heimer said, we do have one at LCE and PCR, and I look forward to opening the one at PCY.
Great, thank you. This person says, the safety of our children is of primary concern, especially at the high school and the junior high. What do you think we are doing right and what could be improved, especially in relation to gun safety? And for this, we will begin with Ms. Anderson, go to Mr. Epstein, and end with Ms. Heimers.
She threw me off.
Yeah.
Question, please.
Safety of our children is a primary concern, especially at the high school and junior high. What do you think we are doing right and what could be improved, especially in relation to gun safety?
What we do right is we involve all stakeholders. I'll wait for her to.
Sorry about that.
Involving all of our stakeholders is what we do best. We don't make a decision and it's in cement. We make decisions and then we'll go over it again to make sure that it's the right thing. Is it working well? What's not working well? We have committees that we have parents can join to help us with that. We have hired Community and Associates who has done parent meetings as well as teacher meetings and even with the board to go through safety issues. You know, it's tough. There's no foolproof way to promise that no gun is going to come onto this campus. We will do our best. We have gates at the elementary schools. We have gates at the high schools. We do everything that we can, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Thank you. Mr. Epstein.
I think one of the biggest things we can do as far as school safety goes is pay attention. And I think that's paying attention to our students, and it's paying attention to who's on our campuses, and it's paying attention to what's happening in the area. And as Caroline mentioned, you know, that is through partnerships, it's through relationships with families, it's through understanding our students, and I think that's is again not a foolproof solution, but is a good step. I also think we are in a position where we are also seeing digital safety issues where we are finding that the world, both social media and AI, and also just hackers taking information is happening so fast that we are constantly on the search for new solutions in order to combat those issues as well.
Thank you. Ms. Heimers.
Sure. The safety of our children is the number one, and I know back in 2017 when we had a facility master plan, I think that they ran over all the priorities, and one of the priorities is to have the safety in our schools, and I think that they put fence around all the elementary schools, and I think there is some putting it up on middle school and high school, and I think that there's you know, like feedback from like board fans, and I think that's actually on the plan right now. But one thing that's going from the meetings in the school PTAs, and one thing they brought up was just like Josh said, paying attention to the students, and they know that there's a trusted adult in the school that if they have a problem, if they see something that's little misbehavior, they can always come and report. But I think that just asking somebody, how are you doing, giving them a hug, it actually can really reduce this violence. And I think that educating, you know, like the teachers and counselors in our schools would definitely help.
Thank you. Okay, this is a 30-second question. When I was a student at Palm Crest Elementary, there was a rule against running on the blacktop and playing tag. Is this still in force? If so, do you believe we should keep these kinds of safety rules? And we'll begin with Mr. Epstein, go to Ms. Heimers, and end with Ms. Anderson.
I don't know how enforceable a no running rule is in elementary school, so I don't believe that is a currently heavily enforced rule. And I do support safe playing and obviously a safe opportunity to burn off some spare energy. So that's as far as my knowledge goes on that rule.
Thank you, Ms. Heimers.
Sure, yes, me too. I think that as long as they're safe, they're running and playing, I think that's great.
Ms. Anderson?
I was at Palm Crest last week. I don't remember watch kids running. I don't know if that's because it was a rule that they can't run, or if they were doing other things, but I am open to them enjoying themselves safely.
Thank you. Okay, so this person asks, what would you have to say to a parent like myself who pulled their children out of La Cañada USD because of the belief that teachers were pushing ideologies that go against my core religious beliefs? And we'll begin with Ms. Heimers, go to Ms. Anderson, and end with Mr. Epstein.
Sure. So I think this family probably left LCSD and went to private school or homeschool. I'm not so sure, but every family has different needs and different values. So we can't really keep every family in our district. My husband and I, when we moved to La Cañada, we pulled our kids from private school to La Cañada public school because we just loved it so much. So every family is different, and so I think they just have to choose, make the best decision of what works best for their family.
Okay, thank you.
Is it me?
Mhm.
Oh. Sorry, I was writing notes. I'm a little dumbfounded by the question because we teach the curriculum. We teach the state standards. We do not teach religion or the teacher's religion. So I would say I'd like to have a conversation with whoever you are, because that's a longer conversation of everything that's happened. Is it one incident? Is it 10 incidents? What specifically has happened? So it's a little hard to answer that question unless I was able to speak to that person one-on-one to get specifics.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Epstein.
Yes, I agree that, first off, I do think every family has to make the decision that's right for them. And if the school is not working for you, then I think pulling your kids out is the right decision for you. As far as feeling that we are teaching ideology or that teachers are specifically teaching a specific ideology, I would want to push back on that a little bit because as Caroline mentioned, our teachers teach the curriculum. I think that we're all going to have our own internal biases, and I think our teachers work really hard to manage those biases when they are speaking to the students and trying to lay out facts. But that is one of the core principles, is that we are really trying to teach as level in a level fashion as we can, and so I would want to know more about the specific incidents.
Thank you. Excuse me. This person writes, Ed Week's annual report indicates low morale among teachers and limited resources to support mental health. How do you envision the relationship between the La Cañada Teachers Association and the board that supports our teachers? We're looking for teacher support and encouragement. So we will begin, I'm getting lost, with Mr. Epstein. Move to Ms. Heimers and end with Ms. Anderson.
You've definitely got us lost as well. So
Yeah.
you just throw out a name and we'll just jump in. I mean, first off, our teachers are our partners, and we do not want our partners to have low morale. I think a lot of our work is to manage the relationships between administration, parents, teachers, students, and how to balance that is the difficult part of being a board member. There are, as we know, incredibly limited resources, and so sometimes we're making hard decisions financially because of those limited resources. But I think we are well aware that our teachers are our partners. We've spoken recently about ways to improve the relationship between teachers and the board, and to improve opportunities to have conversations because there really isn't a lot of opportunity right now for teachers to sit down and talk with board members, but we also don't want to use up their time in a way that is inefficient for the classroom.
Thank you.
I love all our teachers, and I think that our teachers are the greatest asset in our school and district. And I think I wish they can get paid more. If there is a way that we can come up with creative solutions to make that happen, I think that would be really great. And to keep the teachers, I think competitive salary and benefit package will definitely help them too. So I think that's a good way to retain and.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
The relationship between LCTA and the governing board is vital to ensuring that our teachers feel supported, valued, and empowered in their roles. More communication, like Josh said, we're trying to figure out a way where we have more conversations directly with our teachers and the union. And prioritizing their well-being. For example, we've partnered with the Y, where the teachers get a free membership to go to the Y, which helps their well-being. Having them have peer support from other teachers and other school districts, giving them collaboration time to be able to talk to each other and see what best practices are. I think those are big things that will ensure that our teachers are fulfilled.
Okay, thank you. This next question asks, should the district keep secrets about students from their parents? How would you balance parents' right to direct the upbringing of their children with increasing requirements from the state to withhold information from parents about their own kids? And for this one, we'll begin with Ms. Heimers, go to Ms. Anderson, and end with Mr. Epstein.
This is a hard question. I think just like other things coming down from the state, this is another state law, and as a public school, we just have to abide by the law. As a parent, I'm a parent. I have three children too. This is concerning to me, and I think that this is something that we have to open, have a communication with the community and the parents, and see what works best for our Cañada.
Ms. Anderson.
I'm going to read it just to make sure I get it right because I'm very nervous. I believe in the importance of parental rights, especially when it comes to involvement in their children's education and well-being. Parents are essential partners in shaping their children's development. However, it's also important to balance parental input with the expertise of educators, the needs of the students, and the best interests of the wider school community. Schools are tasked with creating safe, inclusive environments where all students can thrive, and sometimes that means making decisions based on what benefits the collective good. These situations don't have simple answers. In my experience, the district works closely with families, along with our leadership and teachers, to ensure that decisions are age appropriate for each child's unique situation. It's not the district's role to agree or disagree with the parent's choice, but we do have to follow the laws and have a responsibility to support the child while partnering with the families. It's about working together to ensure the best outcomes for all our children.
I think, we're talking about a couple of things here, and the first is we have state laws about privacy and our student privacy. And when we talk about parental notification, what we're really talking about, I think, is gender support plans, because the most of our parental rights issues, they are very well laid out in the district as far as having opportunity to observe curriculum and other things. So gender support plans, most of our gender support plans are done with parents' involvement. When we have an issue where a student does not feel that they can share information with their parents for one reason or another, it is our priority is the safety of the students. And so we work with the students to make them understand what documentation is shared in what way and how that documentation will be distributed out so that they have all the information as they make their decisions.
Thank you. This question says, what would you do if your son got in trouble at school and was disciplined? How would you respond? And we'll begin with Ms. Anderson.
Am I supposed to say this has happened? Am I answering as a school board person, or am I answering as a parent?
I think you have to answer as me, a parent, as yourself.
Which is weird, because that's not really. Anyways, as a parent, I would want to find out what happened, speak to my child as well, and, we do a pretty good job of our discipline, doing discipline and having it be equal and having it be the same. Do I wish no one got in trouble? Yes. But again, it's really hard to answer that question because, like, as a parent, it's such a different focus for me. I wholeheartedly partner with the school district to find the best resolution.
Thank
That's my
you.
answer.
Mr. Epstein?
I think at the heart of this is really the balance between being a parent and being a board member, and I think that's where the challenge lies. One of the things we talk about as a district is that when there is an issue on campus, that we encourage parents to start at the lowest level, talk to the teachers, and work their way up. And I think that gets muddied when you're a board member and you have so many relationships in the district. But I would treat any situation the same as I would expect any other parent to treat it, which is begin at the beginning and work your way up as you learn and understand what the situation is. And I would do the same in that situation.
Thank you. Ms. Heimers?
I agree with that. I think that every child, when they get in trouble or make a mistake, I think there's a learning process and also growth opportunities. So I think that just having them go through the disciplinary action the same and talk to the teachers and talk to my child too, but I think that they should all be treated the same.
Thank you. Now we're going on to academics and school district standing. And several people were quite concerned about this, so we may have a couple of questions dealing with it. This person says, La Cañada High School was a 10 out of 10 on academics in 2019, but has dropped to a 7 out of 10, according to Great Schools. CD High School stayed at 10 out of 10. To what do you attribute this drop? And what would you do to improve our score at La Cañada High School? And for this question, we will begin with Mr. Epstein, go to Ms. Heimers, and end with Ms. Anderson.
Sure. Well, I would start by saying I have no idea because I don't know the metrics that the Great School, I don't know what was it Great School? Great Schools uses to determine it. I know that, when universities, when U.S. News and World Report does their annual report and they change the balance of the metrics, it changes the rankings of the schools. So as far as our academics go, I'm incredibly proud of our academics. I think we have done an exceptional job at improving academics year over year. We will, of course, see fluctuation. You're going to see fluctuation no matter what. We're constantly improving curriculum. We're adding AP classes. We have seen more students taking more AP tests and doing better than ever before. And I think our students are getting into fantastic universities when that's what they desire. So I don't know that there's a specific plan to improve on a score that I'm not sure how it came to be.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Heimers?
I don't think we can react to every ratings that are out there. Just like Josh said, we don't really know the metrics of it, and we can't really compare ourselves to the ratings that we're not fully aware. But I think that when we look at our standards, the CAS scores are pretty high. I think that our teachers and students and parents do want really hard work to get the scores really high. And we're the statewide, I think we're very like top 5%. So I think we're doing really well.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
As Josh and Jim both said, I don't know the metrics as to how they came up with this. You can look at others that will give us 10 out of 10 all the time, and there's usually someone who says, why is it 10 out of 10? So I'm not sure, how to make, let me start. It's hard to improve when we're at like 95 percentile of testing, right? It's so hard to get to 96 when you're at 95. So much easier to get from 80 to 95. So I think we do very well. And I'm not going to ding us because we got 7 out of 10 on a random school report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this person asks, is reflecting on the fact that many people are complaining that civics is a dying curriculum in schools, that young people and adults have difficulty naming basic principles of U.S. government. So what is the La Cañada Unified School District's role in teaching civics and getting students involved in civic activities, and how would you improve civics education? So we will begin with, I guess, Ms. Anderson. And come this way.
We do teach civics. When your kids start elementary school, you learn about your community, right? You go to the post office, you go to McDonald's, you go to the public library, you go to Lanterman House to learn about La Cañada and the Crescenta Valley. Then you also go to Valley Forge when you're in 5th grade. In 8th grade, you go to Washington, D.C. 5th, 8th, and 11th grade, you learn U.S. history. And your senior year, you do econ, you learn about government, and soon it'll be a requirement to do financial literacy. So we do teach civics already.
Thank you. Mr. Epstein?
Yeah, that really was my answer as well. We have covered civics. My daughter is in AP American Gov right now, and as is every 12th grader is in a government class with a semester on government and a semester on economics, and I think we're providing an excellent education. We are always supporting our students getting involved outside of school as well. We are promoting internships and other opportunities and that can contribute to both a sense of community and a sense of sort of civic belonging. And I think hosting events like this here at our school is also a benefit when we talk about civics. So I really don't. I would push back on the idea that we're falling short in civics.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Heiners?
Sure. Civics, how to be a good citizen and responsible citizens here. I think that starting from the early kindergarten, they all kind of learn about how to be a good citizen here. My daughter too, in the 2nd grade, they learned about basics of the U.S. government, and it was really good. And I think that for this question, if there's any specific issues or things that needs to be added, I think this can be definitely heard from the board, and we can have communication about it and how to add it to the school.
Thank you. This person says, if elected, you will serve on the board that will approve and implement the ethnic studies component for English 1 at La Cañada High School. What is your assessment of the pilot program, and what do you hope the program will accomplish in the long run? And we will begin with Ms. Heimers, go to Mr. Epstein, and end with Ms. Anderson.
So the ethnic studies, I think when it came down from the state, I think this is something that at least the state let us maybe a little, give us time to kind of see what works best for our district, and I think that's where the pilot program was. And I think the district did a really great job doing the pilot program, and they really liked it. So it's implemented in the 9th grade, and I think that I 6, I think it's gonna be a graduation requirement.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Epstein.
Yeah, I've been involved in the sort of where we're at so far with the ethnic studies program. In that, you know, I've spoken many times to our superintendent and had conversations about just where that program's going to be. And as Jim mentioned, you know, we were given a lot of flexibility as to how to implement that program because it was given to us as a semester program that could be a standalone program, or you could implement it into existing curriculum. We chose to implement it into our 9th grade English, and we did so for a number of reasons. The first is we think it's a great time to sort of introduce some of those concepts to our students, and because there is no advanced 9th grade English, all of our students are pulled together into the same set of classrooms. I think that program is going well, and I think it's really been a great opportunity for students to read books about people who have experiences different than they might be familiar with.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson.
Ditto, and I will have to recycle my ethnic studies answer, which is, ethnic studies offer a valuable opportunity for students to explore the diverse contributions that have shaped our nation's history. The district has carefully considered how best to integrate this into our curriculum. As always, we've approached this thoughtfully, piloting the program before full implementation so we can tailor it to our community's needs. We remain flexible and open to adjustments if needed to ensure its success.
Thank you. Now we will move into a completely different category of things. Do you see any new oversight for our sports programs, including areas such as finances, coaching, and CIF rules, and so forth? And for this, we will begin with Mr. Epstein.
Failed, you have charged me,
go to
you
Ms.
must.
Anderson, and end with Ms. Summers.
Well, yes, there is new oversight, and really it is because of an issue that we found last year, which is that all contributions to our sporting teams need to go through the district. That is just something that all schools are doing. It is required, and it's something we are doing as well. But it does create some further complications because we also have to balance Title IX needs with any needs we have for our sports. So Title IX is going to make, you know, has a requirement that really we are treating our girls' sports the same as our boys' sports, both in terms of finances and in terms of the way that we treat them in their facilities. So, but as we take financial responsibility, we also have to consider all of that as part of the big picture.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
To add to what Josh said is, we'll add that we self-reported. We saw that there was something that probably wasn't working well. We wanted to make sure that we were doing the right thing. So we went to CIF and said, hey, we need your help with this. And, you know, we will need to continue to look at our programs for Title IX, for making sure that our contributions are coming in correctly. Again, as usual, we don't do things quickly. We do things slowly. We make decisions and then go back again to make sure that we're doing it correctly. And if there's anything we change, we do.
Thank you. Ms. Summers?
I wasn't really aware of this one, but I have a finance background, and this is something I can definitely be a help.
Thank you. Okay, I have two more questions. One is, as a school board member, you spend quite a bit of your efforts planning and balancing the school's budget. What items are of the highest priority on the budget, and how would you deal with those? And we will begin with our school board members and then end with Ms. Myers. So, Ms. Anderson.
Could you repeat the
Okay, budgeting is one of the things that school board members spend a great deal of time on. What budget priorities stand out to you, and how do you view the process of balancing all the needs of the schools and coming up with a balanced budget?
Well, what comes up first is how badly we are funded. Right? La Cañada is funded at about $12,000 per student. You can go to New York and it is $30,000 per student. So we are doing a lot more with a lot less. We have wonderful partners in LCFEF, our boosters, our PTAs, who have helped us to kind of close some of that gap. But I think the most important thing is to figure out with the state how to get us better funded.
Thank you. Mr. Epstein.
We always will prioritize the classroom. And I think, in lean times, that is the hardest because 80%, over 80% of our expenses are salary expenses. So anytime things get lean, we are, the easiest way to reduce our expenses is to reduce salaries, which we really don't want to do because there's a direct impact on our classroom. So, I think, well, I can't speak for everyone. As a board member, I have always prioritized the experience of our students as the number one thing. And we'll continue to do that as we have to make budget cuts. And as Caroline alluded to, times are tough right now, and funding is tight, and those decisions get harder and harder as the funding gets tighter and tighter. So, but again, I will always prioritize the classroom.
Thank you. Ms. Heimers.
Sure, yes. I think we're all aware that the budget is really tight, and so it's hard, but we have to maximize our resources to continue to allocate enough resources to the classroom, as well as taking care of our teachers. So my budget priority will be working with the limited budget, but also maximizing resources to the classrooms and also for the teachers.
Thank you. This final question is, what will be your most important focus if you become a school board member? And we will begin with Ms. Heimers.
So my top three goals, first of all, first one is financial responsibility, just like we covered right now. We're in a tight budget situation right now, and this is the reason why I'm running for this election. With my finance background, I really want to help the district to achieve its financial goals and making sure that we are in a good hands. The second one is the safety issue. I want to make sure that all our children are in a safe place. In the morning when we drop off our children at the school, we make sure that they're in a safe place, but also we're providing an environment where it's safe for emotionally, also socially. So we're providing a safe environment for all the students. My third is inclusion. I want to make sure that every student gets equal opportunities and equal access to the needs, and we can bring all the children to a brighter future. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Epstein?
Yes, so having spent 4 years on the board, I think it's important to have some specifics here and to be specific. So I want to be as specific as I can. The first priority I have is looking at extended day kindergarten. I think that's something we really need in this district. The other, and the next thing is supporting RTP programs for the long term. I think that our RTP programs, that's responsive teaching plan programs, have been great for our students. I think there's room to figure out how to best serve our highest needs students, but I think that prioritizing those students continues to be something that I feel is very important. I also want to continue to improve our post-graduation support. That's both college and other opportunities, whether it's vocational training. I'm always thinking about school safety, physical and digital, and finally, hopefully, finalizing the sagebrush transfer if it passes this November. And I'm very excited about that, and the details will require quite a bit of work.
Ms. Anderson.
To add to that, for me, it's continuing to find more opportunities for students to get training outside traditional colleges and universities. We've lost vocational schools. I would love to find more ways to kind of find that for the kids that aren't made to go to a four-year university, and also a new facilities master plan. The last one was done in 2017. The bond brought new life to a lot of our schools, but there's still so much to be done. So it'd be great to see that momentum continue.
Okay, thank you. And we have a final question. It's the kind of thing I often put in the letter of invitation to school board candidate forms. This question says, what are the top 2 challenges you see facing the district in the next 4 years? And what would be the governance steps that you would take to support each issue? And we will begin with Mr. Epstein, go to Ms. Anderson, and end with Ms. Hines.
I think our biggest challenge is a financial challenge, and I think that it starts with always with an enrollment issue. We are a district that functions really well at the size we're at, which is about 4,000 students. But we function that well because we have exactly around 4,000 students. And as soon as those student numbers start to drop off, we're going to see an inability to offer some of the robust programs that we offer. So we are constantly working to improve enrollment. We started last year with a grandparents permit, which I think has grown in size. I think we're looking at this possibility of getting the sagebrush transfer, which will also help. But that to me is the biggest issue, is just making sure that our enrollment stays solid and stays at around that 4,000 number.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
For me, it's still focusing on the whole child. Mental health is still on the rise. We have a lot of kids that are going to need mental health services, and not just for trying to explain it in words that I can't explain. I want to read it, but I don't want to read it either. We'll go to the next one. Being proactive versus reactive. We are fantastic at being reactive. It's so hard to know when COVID's going to hit, right? So that's a challenge that's going to come up for us. I want us to be more proactive versus reactive.
And Ms. Hines?
Sure. I think the budget, I think, is the biggest challenge right now, because as we sit here, we all know that there is a significant cut. So I think that within limited budget, how we're going to continue and maintain the high academic excellence in this district is definitely a big challenge. Also, I think that the teachers' salaries and benefits has been a challenge too. So I think that that's something that we need to really look into and come up with a creative solution to make sure how we can retain and hire the world-class teachers that we need here.
Thank you. And now, we have had a lot of questions, and they've been very well thought through by our audience, and we really appreciate the interest and concern that you have expressed by turning in so many good questions and over such a wide variety of topics. But it is time to go to our concluding statements, and as I announced to the candidates, opening statements were given in the order in which the candidates drew for seating. Our closing statements will be in reverse order. So we will begin with a 1-minute closing statement from Ms. Caroline Anderson.
Thank you all for your time and engagement this evening. As we conclude this forum, I want to take a moment to reflect on what truly matters in our schools. Our children are not just students, but our future leaders, innovators, and change makers. Our responsibility is to provide them with the best possible environment for learning and growth. Throughout this forum, we've discussed the importance of expanding educational opportunities, prioritizing student well-being. These are not just priorities for me. They are essential for creating a thriving educational atmosphere in La Cañada District. I'm committed to ensuring that every voice from parents, teachers, or students is heard and considered in our decision-making. I believe that open dialogue is crucial to our success, and I want to emphasize that I'm always available for discussions, feedback, and ideas. Together, we can inspire, uplift, and empower our students to realize their full potential. I ask for your support on this journey as we strive for excellence in education together. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Mr. Josh Epstein.
Thank you so much to everyone for their time, and thank you to the League of Women Voters and Council PTA, and to other candidates for excellent discussion on the ideas and positions that will hopefully move our schools forward over the next 4 years. Over my decade and a half of supporting our district, I've developed a deep understanding of the people, programs, and policies that make up our school community. With a solid track record of thoughtful advocacy for our students and families, I'll continue to put that knowledge and experience to work for the benefit of La Cañada. I pride myself on leading with an open mind and a steady hand. If you have unanswered questions or want to know more about me or my ideas, please reach out. I look forward to speaking with you, and I hope to get the opportunity to continue my work as a member of the governing board for another 4 years. I know that together, we can make our schools even better. Thank you for your support, and I would appreciate your vote this November.
Thank you. And finally, Ms. Jen Heimers.
Thank you for the opportunity to share this, my vision for LCSC. As the only candidate with elementary school children currently in the district, I bring a unique and vital perspective to the board. In the next 2 years, without my election, none of the board members will have children enrolled, risking a disconnect between the board and the everyday realities of our students and parents. My personal investment in our school's success goes beyond policy. I live the concerns and priorities of families in our district. I'm committed to ensuring a smooth transition as we plan for the future, keeping students' needs at the forefront. As a CPA, I also bring financial expertise that will help the district navigate complex budget challenges with transparency and precision. I'll focus on maintaining financial health while creating safe, supportive environment for our students, teachers, and families. Thank you for your support, and I'll ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank the La Cañada Council PTA for inviting the League of Women Voters to help facilitate this forum, and for encouraging your fellow parents and voters to participate, to come and hear what the candidates have to say. We have received our ballots now. My sample ballot arrived today, so yours should be coming soon. The Secretary of State's ballot pamphlet came the week before that. So you're gathering information to help you make up your mind. One nice thing about the ballot and the sample ballot is that they do help tell you where you can go to vote and where you can go to drop your ballot off if you want a secure drop location. And one thing that's important to know is that you may be a little suspicious of drop boxes, but they are locked, they are in lighted places, and they are emptied every day by 2 people. So there's always a fail-safe or a check and balance process going on. You have the opportunity to research the ballot measures, and it sounds like you have a school bond measure on the ballot, or another issue in the local community, which you can research and learn more about here. Many districts in the state have school bond measures because there's a statewide bond measure, and the only way that a school district can access some of that money is to have matching money raised in their own community. So There are many opportunities and many ways to express your personal opinions and your personal needs and wants on your ballot. So my final conclusion is thank you to the people who helped me tonight. Thank you to you who are so good at getting everything organized, and thank you to the candidates for being here. You're putting yourself out and under scrutiny, and it takes a lot to do that, and I understand that. So my final comment is, don't forget to vote.